pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. We eat so many shrimp. I got iodine partners.
My bitch a choosing lover, never fuck without a rubber. Never in the sheets like it on top of the cover. Money on the dresser, drive a compressor. Top notch hoes, get the most, not the lesser. Trash like the buck for $40 in the club. Fucking up the game, bitch, it gets no love. She be cross country, giving all that she got. 1,000 a pop, I'm pulling business off the lot. I smashed up the gray one, bought me a red. Every time we hit the parking lot, we turn head. Some hoes wanna choose, but them bitches too scary. Your bitch chose me, you ain't a pimp, you a fairy.
A pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. We eat so many shrimp. I got iodine partners.
Baby, you been rolling solo, time to get down with the team. The grass is greener on that other side. If you know what I mean, I show you shit you never seen. The 7 wonders of the world. And I can make you the 8th if you wanna be my girl. I say my girl, I don't mean my woman, that ain't my style. Need a real street stalker, walk a green mile. I'm piling up the paper on the dining room table, cause you able to realize I'm the truth and not a fable. Baby, rockin' Russian sable, keep that chiller on the rack. What I look like with some $1,000 shit up on my back. I'm $1 million man that need $1 billion bitch. Put my pimpin' in your life, watch your daddy get rich. Easy as ABC, simple as 1, 2, 3. Get down with UGK, Pip CBU with B. Cause what's a hoe with no pimp, and what's a pimp with no hoe? Don't be a lame, you know the game and how it goes. We try to get toes.
A pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. A pimp, not a simp. We eat so many shrimp. I got iodine partners.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? How you doing this evening? Happy Monday. Oh boy, of course nothing's looking right the first time because that's how it goes with this live stream. Put this right there. Put this. Okay, what's up, Clifford? What's going on, y'all? This is another live breakdown for a trial. This is for Juan Galt's recent upload. He gave me permission to go upload it. We're watching it on his channel. So again, if you guys haven't reached out to him, please give him props. Go to his channel, subscribe. I see that he's been growing the last week and a half, so I'm glad to see that. But so he deserves it. But this is the Arizona trial where if you guys don't recall, this guy he had 2 videos on Juan Galt's channel. It was an evidentiary hearing, and then the second hearing was the last bit of the second hearing was his motion to recuse the judge or to remove the judge from the case. So we are now at the trial portion. There is a new judge. You can tell by his voice. Again, I'm going to do my best to limit the amount of pauses I do. So we'll go from there. But I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get the show on the road.
Well, today, our pseudo-lawyer goes back to court for his trial. And it's very entertaining. But I want you to understand that he does actually do some real legal research. And it has an effect. So watch this and see if you can pick up on it.
Yeah, that is actually pretty shocking. I feel like I've seen this Shutterstock photo of a close-up judge in like half the videos I've watched on Sovereign Citizens. What's up, Beverly?
Commend you on your work that you put in these motions.
Yep, it's another Mark Stevens acolyte.
Very prepared. I respect this extra time that you take in here. But let's just go back a few steps, okay? Now, you received a Arizona traffic ticket and complaint, which
It's the same guy whose parents were like, no, I don't think we can help him anymore.
This form is approved by the laws that we have here in our state. and the officer has jurisdiction
Sup,
within
Nada?
the county to bring this alleged violation against you.
Wazoo, Nathan,
The
Alpha,
very first step in
Clifford,
our process for traffic tickets.
Well, objection. Point of
Joe, John.
If you'll give me time, I'll explain to you. So, there is jurisdiction for this ticket to be filed in this court, and I have jurisdiction to rule over this matter. So you've asked.
Oh, I'm
for
finishing
several
up the
motions
my Angry Orchard unfiltered
disclosure
hard
provided
cider.
to you.
I need to find a new beer to try
That doesn't
sooner.
apply to traffic cases, as I pointed out to you. Sir, I'm going to ask you to put your phone in your pocket, please.
Oh, by the way, I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to play a drinking game tonight. So I'm gonna have to take a drink every time he says point of clarification, jurisdiction, and another one that he was really obsessed with. I'll just rely on those two because I think that's going to be enough for tonight. By the way, that's a heart rate monitor. Somebody asked for it. They wanted me to wear it. I am, but normally I just do that for games. But here, I'll wear it. Just so maybe you'll see my blood pressure rise as we go along.
Oh, I submitted a motion.
I deny that, sir. So there's not going to be any other recording than the one that we have here. Okay?
Objection. Point of clarification.
I've explained to you, it's my discretion to allow those devices, and I'm not going to do it, sir. We have a recording of our own. It'll be available after this hearing.
Point of clarification, is this court operate under the Supreme Court rules of Arizona?
It is, sir.
Well,
Okay, now I've explained that. Everything is correctly handled up to this point. That's what I want to explain to you, sir.
objection.
So
Point
can
of
you put your phone
clarification.
away,
Damn it.
please?
What
Sir,
section
if
of
you'll-
Rule 122D
Excuse me,
are you
excuse me one
denying?
second.
I don't think so, Sean.
We have.
I've never heard of
court
North
policy
Coast.
That gives the judge the discretion on what's allowed in the courtroom, and I've already denied your motion, sir. Please put your phone in your pocket. Sir, you've been given an order by a judicial officer to put your phone in your pocket.
I'm just wondering which section of Rule 122D your denial or limitation falls under.
Sir,
Well,
if you wanna
again,
look
you'll
that up,
find
I have
out as we go
policy
along.
Number 900 here in our court that gives me the discretion to deny your request.
So
In civil traffic rules, Rule 9, it also allows that we're allowed to make local rules to handle
Yeah.
our traffic tickets.
So does
So
that
please,
affect?
Mr. Let me go over this information. I'll give you an opportunity to speak in just a few
God
seconds.
damn it, Streamlabs!
Everything on its face is valid.
I thought I turned you
For the
off.
State of Arizona for you to be in front of me this morning, okay? You've been charged with some alleged non-moving violations. For
No
not
registration,
operating a vehicle
improper
with the plate
plates,
not being
and no
displayed,
insurance.
for driving a vehicle without current Arizona registration, and not having proof of insurance. Today, we are set to have a trial. So if you feel that you did not commit these violations or not in violations of these laws, we're going to go forward with the trial. Another option that you have is you can change your plea to responsible. If you
I have
registration to
Nightbot
show
as well on my
insurance,
gaming
you can
channel.
review
I don't have it
the
for
possibly
this
dismiss
channel
the
though.
charges or give reduced fines. Do you understand the two options you have today, sir?
No, sir, I don't understand.
Jeremy, you didn't miss much so far.
Okay, so for traffic tickets, there's not a pretrial
They're
process.
still
for
bitching
either
about
motions.
him
Everything
putting
is
in allowing him to put in a recording device.
Can we go over those motions now?
I have to have your plea.
What's up, Sass?
At the very first.
What's up,
step,
Liz?
sir. Do you wish to plead not responsible or responsible?
Well,
Hey, Deacon.
I'd like to
Yep, another traffic ticket tonight.
get some things clarified before I can.
Before we get there, sir, the very first step in your process is to enter a plea. Which plea will you be entering this morning, sir?
Well, you said I have the right to plead responsible, which is the same as guilty, right?
Yes, sir. Or you can also plead no contest.
Which, by the way, Arizona is also another state that handles its traffic violations, or at least non-moving violations, in like a mixture civil/criminal matter. A lot of states do it, but a lot of states classify it either as still being criminal or actually a civil. So, but when it's important to know this because this is not a criminal matter, you do hear a lot of civil procedural rules in place versus purely civil or versus purely criminal?
Do I have the right to make an informed plea?
Are you going to speak to someone here in the courtroom?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, so an informed plea. I've gone over what you're charged with. Let me just go into consequences a little bit. If you are plead responsible to not having insurance, or you're found responsible for not having insurance, in addition to
I would say it's more Alpha. From what I see from Arizona statutes when I looked it up, I would say it's closer to civil than criminal. But I would say it's far more streamlined in that sense. There's no, and at least again, this is Arizona, so there's very little pretrial discovery. Motions are heard the day of trial. And the burden of proof for the state is actually lower than in a criminal matter. It's preponderance of the evidence, and for those lay people, preponderance of the evidence basically means more likely than not, or 50% plus one.
fine of $950. You also will be suspended for.
Am I getting Comcasted? I hope I'm not getting Comcasted.
SR22 insurance policy after that. So those are some pretty stiff consequences on that charge. The other charges you're looking at: fine of $168 and suspended plates $484. So.
Well, point of clarification.
God
am I
darn it.
being charged with a crime? Is this a criminal
Civil
procedure?
traffic violations, sir. That's why a lot of the motions and requests that you made, they don't apply, because these are civil traffic charges, not criminal charges.
So this is a civil action against me?
Civil traffic.
Objection, non-responsive. Can you please?
Objection. We forget that he's saying this to the judge, right? He's saying this to the judge and not the prosecuting attorney.
Please answer yes or no.
Not a civil claim, sir.
And
Civil traffic. I'm not the one on the stand, sir. I'm willing to answer your questions, but I'm not on the stand.
And also, yes, the guy really, again, this is another individual who really likes to backtalk to the judge. Whether he's doing quietly or meekly like he sounds is irrelevant. He's basically trying to interrogate the judge, who is not there to make... That's not what he's there for, is to answer all of your questions.
So it's not a criminal charge and not a civil charge?
For the second time, yes, sir.
Right. Well, do I have the right to be informed of the nature and cause of these accusations?
Oh, that's right. That's what it was. Nature and cause.
I've explained to you what the charges were and what your consequences are. How would you like to plead today, sir?
Well, objection, point of
The
clarification.
court will enter a not responsible plea because the defendant was given several opportunities to enter plea and did not do that.
Objection, sir.
Officer,
Do you
is the state
represent me?
prepared to proceed? Excuse me, sir. Don't interrupt the court while I'm speaking. Thank you.
You entered a plea over my objection, sir.
You would not answer the question. I'm allowed to do that, sir. I've
I'm
given
just
you,
trying to
I've
get
given you 3
clarification.
opportunities to enter a plea and you didn't. Please stop talking over the court. Because what's going to happen is we're going to stop this hearing today. We're going to reschedule it and we have to come back and start again.
Objection, what evidence of jurisdiction has been provided for this to continue
As I've
longer?
explained to you and I pointed out into my first order, these rules are allowed under Arizona law and are Title 28 and the civil traffic rules.
So
That
the
was
rules are evidence of the jurisdiction?
It allows it to be in front of the court. Those
Yep.
rules allow this ticket to
Oh
be
my God,
filed
why
in this
have-
jurisdiction and for me to review this case. It's a pretty straightforward case. You either had your registration insurance at the time or you didn't.
I know, right?
It's not a criminal proceeding.
And even in Japan, Ace Attorney's dead wrong.
You're not going to get.
I did actually stream a good chunk of the first part of Ace Attorney, by the way, Deacon, on my other channel.
Why the laws even apply to me in the first place?
It does apply to you, sir. I've explained that to you. It was pointed
Objection,
out
point
to
of
you.
clarification.
God dang it.
Arbitrary legal
Please don't
opinion.
interrupt me anymore. We're very this close to stopping, and we'll continue this, and you have to come back and start again.
Again, we are also dealing with a person who also likes to relitigate matters that the court has already decided, and unfortunately, that will become commonplace throughout this entire endeavor. So, again, I think that's part of the Mark Stevens script.
Okay. What proof will you be presenting today? Do you
I
have
think
any
I made a
proof that
playlist, John, on my other
you'll be
channel. If
presenting
not,
today?
let me know and I'll make it.
No, I'm just the defendant. What proof has the
Are you
state
going to be
provided?
presenting any information to the court for me to consider today? The reason I'm asking is because it's a traffic hearing. You and the officer will have a moment to share what you're going to be presenting to court.
mhm.
Okay. So I need to know what documents you're presenting today.
I have no documents.
Okay. Officer, would you mind sharing your notes with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. Would I be able to get my statement back?
Oh, yeah, he's just going to have a moment to read it and then I'll hand it back to you.
All right, I've read this.
With alcohol.
Okay. Officer, you can retrieve your...
Well, that's what I'm here for, to try my best to answer questions.
Okay, so the court has allowed an opportunity for both parties to review disclosure. So, Mr. The trial is going to go as follows. After I swear you both in, the officer will go first. He'll give his testimony and information to the court. Once he's finished testifying, you and I will be allowed to ask him questions about the case. After that, then it's your turn. That's when you give your statement. You don't have to give a statement if you don't want to. But when you're done, I'm going to be the only one allowed to ask you questions, but I'll allow you to make a closing statement or argument. So the rules allow that once you're completely done, the officer will get a chance. He can give rebuttal to dispute any of the facts or points that you explained to me. And once he does that, the hearing ends and decision.
Oh, also, for point of clarification, for those who are unaware, again, this is different from how New Jersey operates. In Arizona, apparently, the officer, the issuing officer is the only one who's there. In other words, he is acting as if he's like the prosecutor. I think the reason why is because this is a civil traffic and not a criminal matter. So it's generally the officer who's about to just testify and state what he did. Like, you'll see it here in a bit, but this is one of those interesting situations, because I only know of New Hampshire that also does that, or used to do that, where it would be the officer, the issuing officer, who was the only person that was presenting the case on the prosecution side, and testifying to what he did and saw that day.
Made. So, do you understand the order we're going to proceed in today?
No, I'm sorry. Can you please repeat that?
Sure. Officer will go first. You and I can ask questions. Then you'll give your statement. I can ask you questions. You can give a closing. Then the officer gets a chance to reply.
Am I
Clear?
Alpha? I'm not feuding with H3H3.
I'm
Okay.
just wondering on the element of...
I'm not even wearing a baseball cap, damn it.
Evidence has the prosecution provided that establishes that?
In Pima County, the county attorney's office does not appear on civil traffic matters. They only have the state's witness appear on their behalf. And the rule.
And there's the answer to my question. I missed that part. Apparently that's Pima County that only does that. Where he just said that it's only the testifying witness in civil traffic cases.
Under civil traffic, allow for a state's witness to be present without a prosecutor.
So can this court proceed without evidence of jurisdiction?
Yes, sir. Because it's in our rules that I mentioned to you in the first motion.
And again, once again, he's relitigating something that's already been
I've
litigated.
taken an oath to make sure these rules and laws are followed. If anything was not valid or not legal, we wouldn't be here. I would dismiss your case. I would have granted your motion. But everything is correct up to this point.
Well, objection, point of clarification.
Oh my God.
I don't know how more clear I can be. I've explained to you, our laws allow officers to enforce traffic laws. Regardless if you feel that you have...
Thanks,
you can
Andrew.
be stopped in this state, or you can be charged in this state. The rules allow it. The Arizona Constitution allows it. We've made up these laws for traffic enforcement in Arizona. I've taken the oath to make sure these rules and laws are followed. We're not going to go there anymore, sir. So that's the way the hearing will go. Let me explain to you some differences in the rules for this traffic trial today. Because it's not criminal, hearsay is allowed. So any statements that are made.
Gary, I know one of my
burden of proof is
one of
not
my
beyond a
Christmas
reasonable
gifts
doubt to
are,
make
so
preponderance of the evidence.
that'll be
What
taken care of.
preponderance means is more likely than not, or 50% or more.
I'm
When
blessed.
this
I got
trial
good
is done
parents,
today,
so
if I feel that more likely that you did not break these laws, and I agree with you 50% or more at the end, I'm ruling for you. Or at the end, if I feel more likely you did not violate, that you did violate
again,
these laws,
preponderance of the
you
evidence
also
is
50% or more.
50% plus 1.
Do you understand those differences in the rules I've explained, sir? Excuse me.
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, so in a criminal trial, the state has a higher burden to prove that.
I like how he just basically explains it without letting him.
Question you asked me if
No,
I
sir, I'm
understood.
not the one. I'm going over the instructions to you. I'm explaining to you what the differences in the rules are. So, in a criminal matter, higher burden to prove.
Yeah,
in this case-
the shorthand answer, Professor Hacks, is that preponderance of the evidence is, as Deacon said, more likely than not. But if you want to revert it to a number figure, it's like 50% plus 1. So that, you know, in a balanced scale, whichever you think is like, okay, I think he probably, you know what? I think he did it. Whereas, you know, beyond a reasonable doubt is like, you know, way up here. Like we're talking, you know, you're about 95% or more sure of yourself that this person committed the crime. All right, I'm already out. I'm already out.
today, beyond a reasonable doubt. The civil traffic hearing, preponderance of the evidence. I've tried to put it in percentages for you, so if I agree with you that, and I feel that you did not break these laws.
I only have 2
Or
left,
on
so
the
it's
other
not like I'm
side,
getting
the
hammered.
state
I
is
got work
proving
tomorrow,
50%
you know.
more
So
on ruling for the state. Kind of showing you the scales of justice here. Whichever it tilts a little bit more, 50% or more, that's where I'm going to rule on. Hearsay, for example, let's say this was an accident, and maybe you talked to a witness on the side of the road that saw what happened, and they gave you a statement. You can relay that statement today in court, and I can consider that statement without that witness being here. But in criminal matters, the witness would have to be on the stand in order for me to consider that statement. So, do you understand how hearsay is allowed?
No.
You don't understand that?
okay, apparently he doesn't know what hearsay.
Not sure how else I can make it more clear for you.
It's just like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to do this, man. How am I going to dumb it down for you anymore?
Supreme Court rules of Arizona,
Yes, we do, sir.
and you have to follow those rules.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Are there rules you can ignore?
No.
There are no rules that I can ignore, no, sir.
So can you ignore Rule 122 regarding coverage of the proceedings?
Sir, as I mentioned,
And again, he's talking about Rule 122 is regarding recording devices, something they already discussed at the very beginning of this hearing, and once again, he's bringing it up again.
in traffic cases, we're allowed to create our local
He
rules.
really is being
Our local rules give you
intentionally
discretion to deny your request to have a recording device.
obnoxious.
We've
So the
gone over
local
that.
rules-
It's on the record. I have that. We have it preserved that you've made that known. But we're
Right.
going to move forward, sir. So, do you have any procedural questions about the order of the trial that's going to happen?
Yes, I'd like to know on who's
Oh yeah, Alpha. Hearsay is
I
responsible.
attempted to give you the
Struggle
opportunity, sir. You didn't
to
answer my
wrap your
question,
head
so
around.
Move forward with the not responsible plea. So,
I think the ones
Gentlemen,
that
at this
gave me
time,
the
I'll
most
ask you
trouble was
to
like
please raise
Present
your right
Sense
hand.
Impression.
Objection, I'm not here to testify.
There's another one that was
We're
related
here
to it.
set for a trial, sir. If you don't want to raise your right hand, the
Obtuse.
state may
Yeah,
proceed.
obtuse.
The court
I think it's a better word for it.
I wouldn't be allowed to cross-examine him.
You will, but if you don't raise your hand, you won't be able to, sir.
Yeah,
You don't swear in.
swear in.
Well, I
Do you swear
object to
affirm the
that.
testimony you will give in this hearing today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay? Both witnesses have been sworn in. Officer, you may begin.
Your Honor, I'm ready to stand up for.
Oh, you can remain seated.
Here's the
Your Honor,
cop
my name is
testifying now.
Anthony French. I'm a police officer with the Pima Community College Police Department. The date, time, and location of the violation in question is 11:30.
I just realized he said community college police department. Yeah, that explains a lot because this defendant sounds like he's in college, which also explains why his parents were around in those earlier hearings.
2015 is approximately 22:13 hours at the location of Speedway in Citadel, which is in Pima County and within the scope of my duties. I was traveling westbound on Speedway when I saw a vehicle in front of me without a license plate displayed. I initiated a traffic stop on that vehicle at Speedway in Superbell. I made contact with a white male who later verbally identified himself as Your Honor, let the court show that Mr. Is currently in the courtroom and is seated in this case. When I asked him for his driver's license, registration, and proof of insurance, he stated that he did not have any of those documents due to him, quote, not being within the state, end quote. I asked him a series of questions pertaining to the ownership of the vehicle, in which he refused to answer any questions. I asked him to exit the vehicle, which he initially refused after several commands to provide his name to comply willingly. Said he would comply under what he described as under duress. He exited the vehicle with no incident. Further investigation and record check of revealed that he had an Arizona driver's license that came back negative for some warrants. I cited under ARS 282354B, plate not displayed, ARS 282153A, failure to obtain current Arizona registration, and ARS 284135C.
So,
To produce evidence of financial
yeah. So basically, no plates displayed, no up-to-date registration, and
Do you have any questions? Or answer?
no proof of insurance.
Yes, I have many questions.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Did you file a valid cause of action against me?
So what I did was I filed the citation with my
Citation is a cause of action.
authority.
It's just a yes or no question. Did you file a valid cause of action against me?
Yes.
And how many elements are in a valid cause of action?
Now, Alpha, you really want to trigger somebody fresh out of law school? Mention the rule against
You were the one
perpetuities.
who arrested me.
Yes.
Did you determine on your own that I violated the laws of the state of Arizona?
Yeah.
You're certain I violated the laws of the state of Arizona?
Yeah.
Are you qualified to determine on your own if I violated the laws of the state of Arizona?
Gary, hold that question. It'll become important later.
And are you an expert in the interpretation and application of the laws of the state of Arizona?
My training experience, I have trained and have sufficient knowledge of the laws with respect to the current charges. Yes.
So that's a yes.
Yes, yes.
You are an expert.
At the very least, Deacon, what I saw is if he presented proof of insurance, that he had insurance on the day of the citation, that charge would be automatically dismissed. I imagine so with the registration too.
Is this ticket valid? Is it consistent with the Arizona Constitution?
Yes.
You believe so. So is that a yes or a no?
Yeah.
Would you knowingly file a ticket that was not consistent with the Arizona Constitution?
No.
Is there a victim here?
No. Well, state of Arizona.
Yes.
Yes, state.
The state is a victim. Have I been accused of violating someone's rights?
No. Gotcha, Jeremy.
So this.
It is Pope, but again, this is unlike in the previous trial that we went through. It does seem like the judge is giving the defense witness a little bit more leeway regarding the questions he can ask, because again, I would agree with the previous with the judge in the previous incident that these kinds of questions are kind of outside of his purview, but and he shouldn't or have to hear it. But again, this is definitely more civil side than the criminal side.
The civil action, a civil. You said this is a civil traffic action,
citation, yes, sir.
and that's different than a civil action.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm still not clear on that.
Well, maybe you should get a lawyer.
Sir, do you know how someone, French, do you know how someone acquires standing in a civil case?
Now that's definitely irrelevant.
Have you answer that question?
And here's the
It's not
judge answering why.
to the civil traffic citation or to why we're here today, sir. Can
Yeah.
we move on to the next question, please?
Objection, point of clarification, Your
God
Honor.
damn it.
Why is the officer answering a question about a civil lawsuit when we're here to review a civil traffic citation?
Standing only matters in a purely civil matter. That's what the judge is saying. And, I mean, spoiler alert, I would imagine that the state of Arizona would have standing to ensure that the laws duly passed by the representatives of the state of Arizona to be enforced. So I imagine the state of Arizona would have standing in a criminal or, in this case, civil traffic, regardless. But ultimately, it's a question that's not relevant here in the first place.
It's not relevant. Next question.
I don't understand why you're helping
I've made
this
my
witness.
decision. Next
He's
question,
not
sir.
helping, dude.
Is this your witness, sir?
No, he's not, you asshole.
I'm
See, this is where he's being very, very asshole-ish is, I think, the best way of saying it. This is very Mark Stevens, because oftentimes whenever Mark Stevens says, like, whenever the judge objects against you, you say, like, ask, like, whether or not, you know, are you helping the prosecution? Is he your witness, Your Honor? These are questions that Mark Stevens's teachings, you know, emphasize to get to try and put the record as if, like, the trial judge is wholly against the defendant on the record.
I'm allowed to interrupt the proceeding if I don't feel the questions are relevant, and that's what I've just done at this time. Next question.
He's
sir.
done it before, Deacon, and he's going to do it again.
No, you may not. Ask the witness a question, sir.
So you said I haven't violated anyone's rights, but there is a victim. What evidence do you have that connects me to the victim, state of Arizona?
Can you repeat the question?
What evidence do you have that connects me to the victim, state of Arizona?
What the hell kind of question is that, Liz? Jesus, I still gotta see the rest of that damn season. Damn it! I haven't seen from season 5. Excuse me, episode 5 onward. I gotta get back on that.
That's a fact based on.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I talked over this. I apologize. I'm gonna go back.
You were within the state of Arizona, like who you were.
Is that an arbitrary opinion?
How is that an arbitrary opinion? He's the issuing officer. He's the guy. I stopped you on that day. How the fuck is that an arbitrary opinion?
That is a state fact.
That's a fact based on.
You were in the state.
If you'll allow the officer enough time to answer your question.
So that's based on facts currently within your knowledge.
Yes.
He's the issuing officer.
I was presently there. The matter violation when I saw your vehicle.
So it's based on my physical location only.
Yeah.
I would say, yes.
All right.
Vessel. Conveyance.
And is that physical location grounds for your jurisdiction over me?
Excuse me.
I'll say yes.
Once again, he's bringing up jurisdiction. Again.
And is that opinion arbitrary?
Can you clarify?
Is your opinion that you have jurisdiction over me because of my physical location arbitrary?
I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
What do you base your opinion on that you have jurisdiction over me just because of my physical location?
I don't know how to answer these questions.
Okay. Can you say the question one more time?
We can go back one. You said it was your opinion that you had jurisdiction over me on the date in question.
Right, based on you being present within the state of Arizona, operating a motor vehicle within the state of Arizona.
Is that opinion based solely on my physical location, or is there more to it?
It's based on, you already asked this question, you already answered. It's based on your...
Is that what you're asking?
No, just my physical location on the date in question.
I think that's already been established that it was within Arizona and within the jurisdiction of this court. So let's move to the next question, please.
I'm not clear on that yet. I mean, I would realize I was in a physical location.
Sir, you were at cross streets close to Speedway and Silver Bell within the city of Tucson, within the county of Pima and the state of Arizona. The jurisdiction has been established that you were present at that time.
Yeah. And that's probably what's on the ticket. It's probably what the officer just testified to. So, do you have competing evidence saying, like, no, I was actually not in Arizona? But that's not how he operates. He operates under the guise that I am not subject to any laws because just because I'm within the geographical boundaries of Arizona doesn't mean I'm subject to its laws. But that's just your opinion, man.
Please move on to the next question, sir.
When did you first notice my car?
Your vehicle?
Uh-huh.
I noticed it just east of the intersection of Silver Bell and Speedway.
And
Westbound.
And from there until the time you...
Yes, Deacon, that's essentially what they're trying to say.
Did you
That he has...
car...
He's under no obligation to follow the laws of Arizona simply because he's physically, geographically within it.
Did you witness it swerving or anything? No. Did I cause any damage to anything?
That's not an element of any of the charges, so it doesn't matter.
There's no damage and no injuries alleged.
So what?
And you said there was no plate on the car.
Right.
There's no Arizona license plate display.
I was curious because you wrote down a license plate number on this ticket.
The license plate number was provided by dispatch. After we ran, when we eventually found your VIN, the VIN number on the vehicle, we were able to cross-reference that information and write down what we had.
So just to be clear, there was no license plate, but you wrote a license plate number on this ticket.
Yes, after we were able to positively identify and cross-reference the information on your VIN, and then we were able to figure out the plate information, and we were able to write it down. It was not displayed.
Not quite, Deacon. For Mark Stevens's
Yeah, there was
students
no plate,
and
so
acolytes,
displayed.
it's
Then why
it's a
would
bit
you
different
write-
in how they operate.
The officer has answered your question. That's how he received the plate number, is when they called in your VIN number to dispatch.
Yeah.
Then this VIN number matched a plate at one time and it was placed there.
Mhm.
Next question, please.
And when you called the VIN number into dispatch, what did they tell you about the plate?
They told me that the said that the registration on plate was expired.
It was expired.
For no registration.
Mm-hmm.
Ask the court to take judicial notice of this section that I was accused of violating, 28-2354B. It only requires the plate to be displayed until it's expired.
So here's actually the part where he did his research, and I'll explain it to you later on.
So if the plate is expired, then why should it be displayed?
Was that for the court or was that for the officer? You're asking the officer a question?
It was for the court until the question, and then the question is for the officer.
Okay.
So the question was, if the plate was expired, then why is it required to be displayed?
Yes, this section you cited me under only requires the plate to be displayed if it's not expired or canceled or revoked.
So therefore, since it was expired, then you didn't need to display the plate, is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not making any claims, I'm just asking why the section only requires the plate to be unexpired, uncanceled, or unrevoked.
I don't have an answer for that.
Okay.
Cop said I don't have to answer that.
And what was on my car in place of the plate?
There was some verbiage on there. I don't clearly remember exactly verbatim what it said.
Do you remember the top?
It's the top.
The top part of it, at least?
Yeah. What was in place of the plates?
And if there was no Arizona plate on it, then how did you determine that it was within the state and the jurisdiction?
I saw you.
In King County, which is within Arizona, which is within the United States of America.
And again, these are just territories, just the land. Is that what you're saying?
He didn't say that, sir.
That's not no. Yeah, that's not what he said. Well, it doesn't even matter with that, Gary. Because even the legally speaking, the borders of the states are also vertical. And they go up to, like, infinity. Not literally infinity, but all the way up. That's why you can violate airspace by going from one jurisdiction to another.
Actions and orders be valid if you didn't have jurisdiction over me? Would your actions and orders be valid if you didn't have jurisdiction over me?
That's relevant. I do have jurisdiction.
Next question, please. That's already been established, Chandler.
Again, bringing up jurisdiction.
Do you understand the nature and cause of the accusations you brought against me? So does the judge have jurisdiction over me?
Jurisdiction.
You have to answer that question, officer. Next question.
Objection. Are you acting as the prosecutor?
No, again,
Oh my God, he's doing it.
Questions to be answered by the officer if they're relevant for the reason that we're here, and that's for me to determine whether or not I feel you violated these traffic laws. Next question, sir.
Objection. Point of clarification.
Oh my
Sir,
God.
I've answered. Move on to your next question for this witness, so I can ask my question, sir.
It's kind of difficult when you keep interrupting me.
Well,
Because you're not.
well, the judge is going to interrupt you if you keep on asking irrelevant questions or questions that the police officer is not obligated to answer. Because again, it goes back to the previous trial breakdown. The cop is only there to testify what he did on that day. And that's essentially it. He's to testify as to who he is, his role, his job, his role as a police officer, what happened that day, what he did that day, and any statements that he made or statements that he heard you say. That's essentially it. He's not there to constantly rag on about jurisdiction for your benefit. That's the whole issues of jurisdiction, the issues of whether or not you actually committed the offense alleged. That's up to the judge.
You're not asking relevant questions. If you ask relevant questions, I will not interrupt you, sir.
Is jurisdiction irrelevant, sir?
I have explained to you in the opening that I have jurisdiction to be here. Next question.
I still haven't seen the
Sir.
evidence of that.
I referred to in your previous motions where you can look up those rules, sir. Next question.
I don't believe rules are evidence of jurisdiction.
Jurisdiction is a matter of law and not necessarily fact. It does involve some factual basis, but jurisdiction is determined by the judge as a matter of law.
Well, since I've not been able to get responsive answers on my questions, I don't have anything further.
Okay. Officer, so when you were behind the vehicle, did you notice some type of plate or paperwork on?
Yes, thank you very much, guys. I got 69 people watching. Nice. Thank you so much. I would love you to hit that like and subscribe button.
And then when asked for proof of
I got
insurance,
approved for monetization.
information wasn't
I don't know
presented.
how, considering some of the videos I have on here,
For the defendant
but
to present that.
I have been approved, so much appreciated, guys. Thank you very
That's
much.
all the questions from the court. Did you have any follow-up that you wanted to ask the officers?
Yeah.
I probably won't be monetizing, as in intentionally putting in ads on my videos, to be honest, because I get a pittance out of that, and they're annoying as always. So so screw that. But I know you guys been talking about wanting to be able to send super chats, which again I know ask for them. I don't need them. I'm perfectly fine in my current situation, but tips are appreciated nonetheless.
The information such as insurance from me.
It's part of routine traffic stop.
Okay, what he asked was, why did you ask me for my insurance information? I didn't ask for you, Google. The hell? I'll be right back. I got one last one, and that'll be it. But the judge, the cop was about to answer that, it's part of a typical traffic stop that when we stop you, we ask for your license, registration, proof of insurance. I'll be right back. All right. Last
Carl House pulled you over because you had a plate. And I wanted to find out what's going on with the plate. So I approached the vehicle.
His heart rocket is skyrocketing.
I greeted you actually. I said hello. Officer French came with the College Police Department. And I gave your license, registration, proof of insurance. I just wanted to positively identify the situation that was going on. That's why I asked you for your information.
No. I'm just
I would like
unhealthy.
the
I'm out of shape.
notice that was in place of the plate said private property, no trespassing,
Okay.
not for hire.
Okay, so his plate said private property, no trespassing, not for hire, as is typical sovereign citizen stuff. What's up, James?
So I believe when you asked me for that information, I said I'd rather not. I didn't exactly refuse. I asked you some questions, and I believe you threatened to break my window and drag me out of the car if I didn't provide that to you.
That was not me.
That was not you. Were there others there?
I did not make that statement.
Okay. I mean, I have a recording of it. I'm not sure who said it. I know that you were the one that pulled me over.
He's answered your question. Next question, sir.
All right.
That's a good question, Deacon. Again, this is back in 2015 or 2016. I honestly don't know. I know New Jersey, it's all officers got to wear body cams.
Mr. Would you like to give testimony at this time?
No.
Would you like to present any insurance or registration for the court to consider?
There it is.
I've not seen any valid reason to produce that.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
There's no damages or injuries alleged. So.
That's not an element of the charge.
I always check on every case because I don't want anyone to leave here today forgetting something else that you wanted to say or something else you want me to consider in your trial this morning. So is there anything in closing that you would like to add or you'd like me to consider in your trial today?
Yes, I asked several questions to the witness here that were relevant to this case, and several that were relevant, and he couldn't answer them.
Ask the question to me.
Well, let me go back here.
Well, the judge is making sure there's a complete record. In other words, the judge is saying, okay, what were the questions that you think you should be able to ask? And I'll tell you why I objected to them.
The cause of action, that was unable to be answered. And
He wants to make sure he's secure on appeal.
He just didn't know the answer to that question.
yeah,
Is that
so-
right, officer? Yeah. He answered your question, he just didn't know how to answer your question.
No, this is a basic.
I always wanted you to repeat the questions that I didn't allow, and I'll explain to you why.
Oh,
You're right, and I've seen that all the time, and with my judge when I was
And
clerking,
remember,
and
one
with other
question was
judges
about the
too.
Civil. But again, remember,
yeah.
do you follow sports at all, sir?
Objection relevance.
Because nobody likes to be overturned on appeal. Nobody likes to say that you were wrong, right? Whether it's in life or in law, nobody likes to be overturned. So, but now the judge is going, as I said, Deacon, earlier, now the judge is going to try and dumb it down for him even further. The guy is going to be an asshole about it, but the judge is going to help him out anyway.
This is a question. I want to give you an example. I want to use an example.
No, thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to do it anyway. Well, if you watch football, there's the NFL game, the professional game, and there's the college game. Now the field looks the same, 100 yards, just like the courtroom looks the same for traffic and criminal cases. But there's differences in rules within the cases and within the games, and you're not allowed to bring rules from one game.
I would say
to the
clerking
other.
is not the same as being an intern, Clifford, because when I was a clerk, I was actually being paid a full salary,
Yeah,
and I had to be I had to have at least graduated law
We've gone
school
over that, sir. Next question, please.
and
Next question,
ultimately
you
have
feel that I didn't
passed the
allow
bar
it.
exam
Let me try to explain to you why I didn't allow it.
in order to continue my clerkship.
well, I have some more
Well,
questions.
the judge was trying to make an analogy between civil and civil traffic, in that, you have the NFL and you have a college football. They both look the same. They both sound the same. They seem to operate the same, but there are different rules in place. There are distinctions between college football and the NFL, just as there is in a completely civil matter and a civil traffic matter. That's the analogy that he was trying to make.
Questions for you.
I'm not on trial, sir. I'm only going to answer your questions at this time that you wanted me to clarify why I didn't allow in your questioning.
Yeah, some clarification.
Yes, sir. What's the question?
It is.
Can I have a fair trial?
The fact is, the guy doesn't get it either. Anyway,
This is a fair trial, yes, sir.
or intentionally doesn't want to get it.
Yes or no question, sir.
I'm not on trial. I'm not your.
Again, he's like, I get the guy is telling the judge, "Sir, that was just a yes or no question. I just need a yes or no." You don't say that to a fucking judge. I'm sorry. That's. I feel like these guys don't, either they do or they don't understand like the level of discretion the judges has in control of the courtroom.
Can I have a fair trial if there's a conflict of interest?
This is a fair trial, yes, sir.
It's just a yes or no question, sir.
I'm not on trial. I'm not your witness.
I'm not asking you.
Okay, sir.
I'm not
Is there
asking
anything
questions
else you'd
about
like to
the-
say or you'd like me to consider in your trial today?
I'm not asking you questions about the
Sir,
allegations.
I'm asking you a direct question from the court. Do you have anything else you want to say or you want me to consider in your trial this morning?
I still have clarifying.
Oh yeah, these also talk about
Officer, does the state have any rebuttal?
this being a conflict of interest. That's another tactic that not just Mark Stevens, but a lot of other sovereign citizens do. Like, oh, you're being paid by the state, ergo, you are in league with the state. And also because you're a member of the bar, you're also in league with the defense attorney as well. Therefore, a conflict of interest. Well, no. The executive is a separate branch. The executive, aka the prosecution, is a separate branch for the judiciary. They're intended to be separate branches. They are intended to be checks on each other. Therefore, there is no conflict of interest simply because the judge is being paid a salary by the same state government. Again, this is about us either trying to tell these guys how civics works or they're being intentional about their ignorance about it. And I think more often than not, it's the latter rather than the former, but I could be wrong. Well, the Mark Stevens, I don't know if he's selling books. He probably is.
This law you were cited under
Amazon
Illinois
ebooks,
Statute
but he's still on YouTube.
54B.
He's still posting videos on his bullshit.
And as I review the statute, I agree with your points that if your plate is not valid or expired, that you're not allowed, should not display
James.
that. And I think our rules do kind of conflict a little with this law. And
So ultimately, the judge actually agrees with the defendant on his argument about the statutory law on displaying of plates. And I went to go look at the law itself, and I would actually agree with the judge that it is very confusing in how they wrote up the statute, because it says, in the law, it says, license plates, I'm paraphrasing, license plates shall be displayed until expired or revoked. And in theory, you could say that it means that if my registration's expired, then I can take my license plate off, or I don't have to have my license plate up because my registration's expired. So the judge is essentially agreeing that there is like a conflict in the statute, and so he actually gets the guy out of that charge, aka not displaying a license plate.
our registration law, but based on your points and the information.
Oh, he was? Oh, I didn't realize that, Juan. Oh, I thought he was still up on YouTube.
354B. Excuse me. As to the second law for...
However, that does not absolve him for having an unexpired
This law
registration.
reads, a person shall not operate, move, or leave standing on a highway a motor vehicle, trailer, or semi-trailer unless the motor vehicle, trailer, or semi-trailer has been registered with the department for the current registration year,
Yep.
or is properly registered for the current registration year by the state or country of which the owner or lessee is a resident. So in your testimony, I had that you applied your statement that it was private property, but our rules do say if you operate a motor vehicle, you have to have it currently registered within the state.
Yep.
And when the officer made contact with you and he ran your VIN, at that time it was determined that your plates were not valid. So I do feel the state has met the burden and find you responsible for ARS 2153A.
Can I get something
I'll
clarified?
allow you to ask questions at the end, sir.
Thank you, Nicotine, for your valid input. Always
And the
appreciated.
last violation I'm reviewing is Arizona Revised Statute 4135C. Failure to produce evidence of financial responsibility on the request of law enforcement officer investigating a motor
insurance.
vehicle accident or alleged violation of a motor vehicle law in this state or a traffic ordinance of a city or town is a civil traffic violation that is punishable as prescribed in this section. Based on the officer's testimony and information, he noted that you did not have a plate on the vehicle, wanted to kind of find out what was happening. Then when he ran your VIN, that's when it was determined you did not have the current registration. And then also when he asked you, you did not present
Really?
that information. The court has also offered you the opportunity to present that information. So without that being shown, sir, I also have to find you responsible for violating law 284135C.
And that is going to be the one that really hits him for the fine.
284137.
Not having proof of
That
insurance.
is the fines and the rules for that. It says the person, you're found responsible, the fine is imposed along with surcharges, and I'll go over that in just a moment for you. We also have options that can provide a payment plan if you like. Officer,
no.
Is this your only case this morning, sir?
I might be getting Comcasted. Ah, shit. I think I am getting Comcasted.
Thank you, officer. We'll keep you on standby. So, sir, as I mentioned, I have to impose the standard fines and fees. You have 14 days to file a notice of appeal. Even if you appeal, you still have to make payment on the fine and it'll be held as a bond. So let me just go over what we have for you.
Well, I'm notifying you now that I'm appealing your decision.
Okay. and you're
Oh, I
welcome
bet
to
you
do that,
are.
sir. The appeal packet is on the second floor at the information counter. As I mentioned, though, I have to impose these fines and fees and have to have you pay it today or set up a payment plan. So the total judgment due
All right,
for
good.
today is $1,173.50.
$1,173.50. $1,173.50 for no insurance and expired registration.
Or I can allow a monthly court payment plan, but $20 is added, and we can have you pay it at $40 a month. Do you want to do the payment plan or pay it all today, sir?
I can't pay it right now.
Okay, I'll set up the payment plan for you. So starting on February 15th, you'd be due to post a minimum $40 bond on this case. You can make your payments on our website over the phone.
I have no idea, to be honest, Gary.
You can be late or missed.
Yeah, they are giving
License
doing a
gets
payment plan
suspended,
for it.
files get suspended, and then the only way to get your license
And
back is
50
to
cent.
pay the total judgment. But trust me, sir, I know things happen, so if you need my help, like a deferment or an extension, you can write me a letter or come in by the due date, and we'll give you options to help.
Well, that's the thing. Screw it. I didn't realize. I mean, New Jersey is a taxpayer's hell on earth. You know, I'm taxed on everything. But what I noticed is that New Jersey's annual registration fee for my car is actually relatively cheap compared to a lot of the other country. Like my registration fee is like $46. But people, like, I know my parents said in Mississippi, it's based on the value of the car, and they pay like something insane, like $200, $250 for annual registration, which is Nuts. But I digress. Shut up, Nathan. You do have to have inspection in New Jersey, but it's free if you go into a state facility, which I had to do recently. If you go to you can go to a mechanic, but they're going to charge you for it.
Okay, sir. So, before you're excused, do you have any questions?
Basically,
about
yes,
the rules
James.
the law that I explained to you, the decision I made on your case, or your right to appeal?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So once you receive the orders from Brandy, you're excused, sir. You have a good day and good luck to you.
All right.
Here's Juan Galt's Ultra, which I appreciate. Which I know exactly where it's from, but yeah. So hey, there it is. Yeah. So essentially, the guy lost, as is typical, what you expect. So, you know, simple. Not a brat, not guilty on all counts. I mean, if you want to be technical, he was found not responsible on the no valid plates, but found responsible on the no proof of insurance and expired registration. But again, we go through a guy who was clearly a student of Mark Stevens, who, you know, did the whole jurisdiction arguments, did the whole I am not within the okay, Deacon, to go back to answer your question. Deacon. Mark Stevens's teachings go with this idea that because Arizona or Alabama or New Jersey are effectively fictional constructs, right? They only technically there's no physical thing known as the state of New Jersey. Because of that, they feel like it has no bearing over somebody who is tangible, flesh and blood. Therefore, why should I never agreed to adhere to them. In other words, it's no different from me adhering to a company policy because I don't work for them. I don't know about that one. Based on what I saw from the court rules, he did say that the recordings, that the court recordings were adequate. But that's my interpretation of Arizona's court rules on that. So that's where we get he gets this idea that just because I'm physically in the so-called geographic boundaries, which themselves are lines on a paper and not physically existing, why the hell should I be subject to them? Oh, really? The judge admitted to it? Oh, wow. Oh, no. Never mind then. I mean, I thought he made his argument clear, but I guess not. That's just me. But fair enough, but he didn't appeal it anyway, so but yeah, that's where Mark Stevens' thing comes from, is that because, you know, Arizona is nothing but lines on a paper, why the hell am I obligated to adhere to its rules? That's the long and short of it. So that's the end of that. Somebody sent me something on Discord. What did you send me on Discord? Oh, I think I've seen this one. Oh no, advertisements. Not mine though.
What's up, guys? Mike the Cop, and
Hi, Mike
we
the
haven't
Cop.
talked too much about judges on this channel or on my social media accounts.
Oh, yeah?
We have talked about the judge that McBain from Jackson, my home state.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Well, I remember seeing that video of the judge basically throwing hands on a fucking defense witness because he got fucking handsy with everybody else. That's the thing that one thing about Mark Stevens' thing is he's also a major tax protester too. So I've actually had the one federal case where he's actually, identified by name as trying to appear on behalf of somebody who is in an IRS case. So yes, he also does a whole tax protester arguments too.
Tase his ass. If you haven't seen that video, that is a classic must watch. The card will show up for the YouTubers to check out later. But this one also comes.
But whoever can see here.
Times.
Oh, I remember that. Okay, the context for this video, all due respect to Mike the Cop, the context to this video is that this woman is being found either being sentenced or being found guilty of killing somebody while drunk driving. And yeah, that's the background. You'll hear what happens.
This way. Check it out.
It's time for him to go. And I don't know who he is, but whoever can sit here at a tragic moment like this and laugh and smile when somebody has lost a family member. The entire time that Mr. Zerker's sister was speaking, that clown, and that's what I'm going to call him, a clown, was sitting there smiling and laughing. Yeah, you can go too, because if you don't know how to act, you can go to jail.
And I think those are the parents of the suspect, the parents of the defendant.
So leave. Anybody that can sit there and laugh and smirk when somebody, take her, she's going in the back.
And now,
anybody?
And now she got contempt because of that last line before she left. I'll let you guys repeat. I'll let you guys hear it again. That last little comment right there for the people in the back.
Yeah, you can go too, because if you don't know how to act, you can go to jail. So leave. Anybody that can sit there and laugh and smirk when somebody, take her, she's going in the back. She's going in the back. Anybody else want to go? You can go too. This is a court of law. And these are very serious matters. And I understand you all are upset.
She says, I heard her say something like laugh when she left, when she was out the door. I couldn't recall. Either I didn't laugh or something like that. I know laugh was in there. I couldn't recall. I couldn't hear what she said beforehand.
Upset because your loved one is going to prison. But guess what? She's going to prison for the choices that she made. These people are here grieving, saddened, because a senseless act took away their loved one. And you all are sitting around here like it's a joke. Not in courtroom 502. Not today and not any other day. Ma'am, you are being taken into custody for criminal contempt. Your disruptive and disrespectful behavior disrupted today's proceedings, and you, ma'am, are going to the Wayne County Jail for 93 days for direct criminal contempt. Anybody else want to go? Try it.
That's appropriate courtroom decorum, but I'm not going to say much.
Well, thank you. Your mouth got you 93 days.
Damn! Woo!
I did a little digging, and the woman.
Fuck! 93 days! 3 months for contempt. Fuck.
When you saw getting hauled away for 93 days for the criminal contempt, ended up coming before the judge the next day and apologizing, talking about how stressed she was. Obviously, her daughter had killed someone while drunk driving, and she was sentenced.
James, I thought this was America. I thought this was America. I'm sorry, this is America.
There, and she and another person were accused.
No, I imagine she did bring it down.
Smirking and being disruptive during that portion of the trial, so she sent her to jail. Now she lets her off with 1 day.
Okay, she
time served, changes from 93 to 1.
Oh, 1 day. Okay, she ends up getting 1 day. I mean, I understand that. I mean, I get that. I've seen other instances where somebody was like, who was it? Some lady was back talking to the judge And the judge was like, say one thing again, and I'm gonna keep on raising your contempt sentencing. And she kept on going off, and the judge was like, 90 days, 180 days, 200 days, 250 days, 300 days. But ultimately he reduced it to not 1 day, but reduced it ultimately. But I remember that was funny as hell. All right, well, you know what? I'm going to try and find that. Prisoner gets contempt. There it is. Here it is. All right, this will be the last one, and then I'm gonna call it a night. I have to wait. I have to wait for more crazy videos because I want to restrict this thing to just the breakdown, and that's it. So we're gonna end it here.
Put determination of bond deferred until safety evaluation complete. Good morning, Mr.
No,
Brooks.
I'm not going to jail, for God's sake.
Charged with assault. That's a misdemeanor 1, carries a possible fine of $1,000 and/or 6 months in jail. Domestic violence is also a misdemeanor 1 and carries a possible fine of $1,000 and/or 6 months in jail. You have 3 pleas available to you today: guilty, not guilty, and no contest. You also have the right to a lawyer, and if you can't afford a lawyer, the court can appoint one for you. What plea would you enter?
Not guilty.
Court will accept your plea of not guilty. I'm going to assign your case to one of the courtrooms. All right, Ms. Burks. On the domestic violence, I'm going to set a $7,500 cash or surety bond. That bond is conditioned of no contact with Cedric McRae. On the assault, I'm going to set a $7,500 cash or surety bond. That bond is conditioned of no contact with
Wazoo, I know
Castro.
which judge you're talking about with that one.
No contact means you can't call him, you can't write him, you can't text him, you can't email him, can't leave a message on some social media, you can't go visit him. If
Good
you go
question,
someplace
Deacon.
and either Mr. McRae or
Sometimes I
Ms.
don't
Castro
think
is
so.
there, you have to leave. If you're someplace, even though you may have arrived first and one of them shows up, you still have to leave.
So you gonna tell me I can't go home?
I'm telling you, you can't go home. If you live with
Whoa, I'm talking. I don't need you to say nothing.
if you live with Mr. McRae, you cannot return to that residence.
Oh, but how you just gonna tell me I can't go home?
What?
How you gonna tell me I can't go to my home?
How are you going to tell me I can't go home?
I just did.
Well, I bet I do.
Well then.
Well, I bet I do. Oh, fuck. What the hell, man? All right, you gonna question the authority of the court?
And you're in contempt, young lady, and you got 30 days. So you're not going to, you're not, what?
Whoa.
Get back. Get
Bye. Fuck.
You just said I got
Get
30 days.
back.
I'm not getting nothing else.
That's another 30 days. That's 60 days.
So what?
60 days. So what? 90 days.
So?
120 days.
Okay, and?
180 days.
Oh! He's quiet. Get off me!
Oh, that's definitely one thing I learned, Deacon, in my clerkship. Because I clerked with a judge when she was doing family. And I learned that, you know, DV against, you know, filed against women happens more often than not. And, you know, deadbeat moms is certainly more of a thing than I think people realize. Not as much as deadbeat dads, bear in mind, but they are definitely more than like a singular aberration. But I'll leave it at that.
Get your hands off of me, man. Come on. What else you got to say?
Oh, nothing. We'll talk in 6 months when you're ready to come back for your case.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Not as sorry as she's gonna be.
I ain't bad. They got commissary. I got money.
That's 2
I got money.
days. You got anything else to say, Miss Burks?
You.
That's
Fuck you. You got anything else to say? Fuck you.
300 days.
Again, I think ultimately it was reduced. I don't know by how much, but yeah, that's what it reminded me of. For those curious, constitutionally, a judge can only the maximum sentence a judge can hold against somebody for purely for contempt of court is 1 year. That is the absolute max sentence. But pursuant to the Constitution. But there you go. Trivia. All right. Thank you guys. Much appreciated. I hope you guys were able to learn something. Again, thank you again, everybody, for the thousands, getting me over 1,000. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm going to be working on my collaboration with Schrodinger's cat and Marvel Girl, and Ragical is also part of it. So look forward to that. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next time. Again, shout out to Juan Galt for the video that came out as well. Have a good night. Take care. The cat's alive, dude. They just decided not to appear this evening. Come on. I know that's what the reason for why I got 1,000 subs, but I mean, I have to at least try to pull my own weight, right? All y'all obsessed with cats. What is this?